was a can of Goya beans
Uh-huh.
and a vial of blood. That's what it was.
Hello, good morning, BBs.
Good morning. It's too early.
It sure is.
Welcome to the first, best, and only morning show in existence. I'm Anthony Carboni.
And I'm Saige Ryan.
Saige,
Yeah?
I found out something that is not a big deal,
Okay.
but it has shook me to my core.
Uh-huh.
Have you ever had it? Like, it's not a thing.
Yeah.
Everyone, it's not a thing.
Yeah.
But for me,
Right.
I am losing it over this.
Yeah, like that time I found out somebody who guessed it on Riverdale one time was a murderer.
We're going to stick a pin in that.
Okay.
Saige, I found out I'm a bad typist.
Oh. Did you take like a typing test?
Yeah, I was watching. Okay. You know how.
I thought you were going to say driver.
No, that's known. So, you know how my brain gets caught on little things for like optimization. It's an ADHD
Yeah,
thing,
I'm
right?
familiar with ADHD.
Yeah, it's a little optimization. Like anytime I fall down this hole, I'm like, man,
Yeah.
how much am I ruining my productivity or my ability to do stuff just by like not being able to type 200 words a minute?
Sure.
Could I type 200 words a minute?
Mhm.
And then my YouTube served me up some videos of people who can type at 200 words a minute.
Okay.
And how they tested it. And I went and I tested myself. I'm an idiot. I'm an absolute.
How many words a minute did you get?
I'm an absolute buffoon. Guess how many?
120? 100? 80? No. 60? Anthony, can you type one word per minute?
Barely. 40 words a minute. Now, this is if I'm doing home row and doing everything correctly. 40 words a minute.
Wow.
I
don't know what mine is to compare.
I think I'm a faster, like, hunt and peck, go all over randomly.
Okay.
Because that's just sort of, that's my vibe. I'm like, it's like jazz, baby.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? When I
Yeah.
type, it's like beautiful
Slow.
jazz. Slow jazz. It's like Miles Davis's Kind of Blue.
Yeah.
It's just morning coffee YouTube channel.
Okay.
That's how slow when I try to type with the proper home row and everything, 40 words a minute. Like a buffoon, like a child, like an absolute baby with an iPad.
That makes me want to take the test. But babies with an iPad actually type pretty fast these days.
They type pretty quick.
Yeah.
I've lost it.
I'm slow as hell with fake nails on. I commend everybody who wears fake nails and functions in society. For the 3 weeks that I have these on when I get them done, I take a break from being productive or useful. That's a 3-week pause for me.
Whenever I go into a professional situation and I see someone with the really long nails, just
Wild.
I've got now I have double utmost respect for them.
Yeah.
Because I'm deficient.
Yeah.
For me to be deficient at optimal settings.
Right.
And for somebody to be blazingly fast
Yeah.
with such a hindrance.
People are saying that you're average.
Hey, fuck you. Nobody calls me average.
People are saying
I'm
40 words per minute is average.
No, I'm a gifted child. I do not accept that. I'm a burnt out gifted child.
I think I type pretty quickly.
Yeah, you do. You do think you type pretty quickly. I bet you don't.
I don't know. I once had somebody in the Discord say, did you have that copied into a note or do you just type very fast? And honestly, that affected my self-esteem in like a very positive way.
Yeah,
Because I got to say, I just type really fast.
But how fast does that person type?
I don't know.
Right?
I don't know their business.
Here's the thing.
Baddies are saying I type quickly, but they also don't know.
You don't know? I thought I typed quickly.
Yeah.
My whole life I was like, brrrrap,
Yeah.
brrrrap.
You thought so.
I thought so.
Yeah.
But instead it was like, dun, 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 dun.
Yeah. There was like a trumpet playing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Trombone.
It was me, and next to me was that cartoon tortoise that's like, I'm gonna win the race.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh no, he is. He's beating me. Listen, all we do is type.
Yeah.
That's all
our
we
whole
do.
lives.
Human beings just type now. I'm slow at it.
I think you should also separately take a test of how quickly you type on your phone.
Oh, I swipey so good.
You swipe.
I do swipe.
You're an iPhone that swipes.
I
am
years
the iPhone who swipes.
I am the one. Years ago, when I had an Android phone, got hooked on the swipe.
Yeah.
It takes like a week to get used to swipe.
Yeah.
And then once you do, you're like this. You're not looking at your phone. You're like one hand. And that's why, Saige, the reason I fell down this rabbit hole is I decided that even typing as quickly as I could, which had to be thousands of words a minute.
Sure.
It wasn't enough. And I looked into whether you could buy court stenography typewriters.
Oh. You can, I think.
You can. They're usually thousands of dollars, but there are people who have made like their own, and there's software you can use now that like auto types into like word processors and into Windows.
Why would you need that to practice when you have so many keyboards?
Because Saige, it's about typing 70 bagillion words a minute.
Yeah, but
My goal is, how fast am I thinking? That's how fast I should be typing. That's why we invented the typewriter.
if you type on something else,
Yes.
and then you try and adjust it to a keyboard.
Listen, if you teach your dog to talk with buttons and you go on vacation, your dog can't talk for a week. It's fine. When I'm sitting at the amazing keyboard,
But what?
I will
but
be
what are you
able to
gonna
type.
do with it? Are you gonna be a courtroom stenographer?
no, I'm gonna type as fast as I think.
But nobody else can see it.
It doesn't matter if they could see it. I know, and I'll be able to type so fast that finally I'll be productive. Do you see where my brain went?
I do.
Do you see where it went? This is the same part of my brain that also decided a couple years ago that I was going to learn shorthand. You know, like a Gal Friday from the 50s. I was going to learn shorthand.
Yeah. I still don't know. What do they call it? Where you have to be like B for bakery. That's a proof I don't know it.
Yeah, B for bakery.
I do random words every time.
What are you talking about?
And I just found out recently that there was like a definitive alphabet for what
the
word you're
NATO
supposed to
phonetic
use.
alphabet.
The NATO
Alpha, Beta, Charlie,
No, I feel like
desktop,
no. I think there's like the ones people use. Though.
Ellen,
That doesn't sound right.
Fargo,
I don't think any of those were
Green
right.
Goblin.
There are ones. Yeah, you know the ones.
Yeah, Alpha, Bravo, Charlie. Yeah.
All the way through the alphabet.
Yeah.
Where like if you're
Tango.
giving someone your confirmation code over the phone, you're supposed to be like C as in Charlie.
Yes. Umbrella, Mothra.
I just say random words.
I mean, that works too. As long as the words start with the right letter. You don't need to know the NATO phonetic alphabet.
But I panic too. So there's like a moment where I try to remember the right one, and I'm like, B as in bountiful. Fuck, I'm sorry. Every time on the phone because they
B as
know I'm
in
embarrassed.
bountiful. And she was like, my eyes are up here.
I know, I got distracted. Every time. It's only really used in the military. No, because people use it on the phone. That's not
No,
true.
people do
It's
use
not
it on the
only
phone.
used in the military. People use it when you have to give a code to somebody on the phone. You're supposed to say A as in
Like a code? Like are you
Asphyxiation.
launching missiles over the phone?
you know, like your confirmation code.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, when you're like, hi, American Airlines, you really fucked me on this ticket.
Yeah.
What was your confirmation code?
Yeah. It was Carly Rae Jepsen,
Yeah.
Delta, like the airline that I'm going to rebook with,
Yeah.
Eeyore,
Right.
Pokemon.
Yeah.
Yeah, the NATO phonetic alphabet.
S as in Skybus, please.
Yeah. Anyway, why am I slow at typing?
Get good, I guess.
I guess get good.
In fact, you're average at typing.
That's so fucked up. I'd rather be bad than average.
Yeah.
No
Yeah.
middle sliders in life.
No middle sliders.
Middle sliders are boring as shit. Don't tell me I'm average.
Hey, Anthony,
Hey,
you're a straight white man.
you take it back. You take that back.
You're all middle sliders, bud. I love you.
I'm exactly.
You were born middle sliders.
Do you remember when we first started hanging out? you asked me like there was something we had reached like some sort of gift giving holiday or something, and you asked me what my size was, and I was like, I'm literally medium or the exact floor model average of everything.
Yeah.
I was like, you can walk into any store, it doesn't matter how their stuff fits.
Yeah.
I'm a medium.
In America, you are destined to be middle slider.
And it makes me so angry.
You are genetically middle slidered.
Because here's the thing. I like to have the middle slider appearance.
Yeah.
And then surprise you.
Sure.
That's the fun, right?
Yeah.
Then I get to surprise you. And if it's a bad surprise, that's fine as long as you're surprised.
Well, okay.
You know what I mean? Like, if I'm a horrible typist, that's better than being an average typist.
Yeah, that's at least funny.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I either want to be like, whoa, surprising.
Yeah.
Or that's a funny bit.
Sure. Yeah.
I don't want to be 40 words a minute.
Yeah.
40
you can type slower. No one's stopping you. It's probably easier than learning to type faster.
That's cheating. Also, it really doesn't help me accomplish my goal.
Nope.
Who's the fastest typer? I found out the world record is like 199 words a minute or 201 words a minute.
Oh, that was the fastest in the world?
Fastest in the world.
Oh.
So you're probably like, you're thinking right now, I'm probably 180 is what you're thinking.
No, I'm not.
Saige is thinking right now, if that's the fastest in the world, I got to be at least a 120 is what Saige is thinking.
No, I'm thinking if you're 40, maybe I'm 70.
You're being nice. How fast do you really think you type?
I really do.
Really?
Yeah. I think if 40 is average, I think it's generous to say I'm at 70. I think I type above average. But I don't know. I don't know what the range is.
Anyway.
70 is pretty fast? Yeah, I'd say I'm pretty fast. I'm not a speed runner on my emails, you know?
Oh, wait. In the chat, Alex says fastest typer in the world was Barbara Blackburn, which means we all know exactly how fast it was. Now that Alex said Barbara Blackburn, I get it. Good morning, Alex.
Good morning, Alex.
Was there a number attached to that or just a name? I only wanted to type half a thing so I wouldn't interrupt.
Alex, you're muted. Is your mic unplugged?
Anyway, Alex is doing great.
Alex is doing great.
And he said he thinks he can type 300 words a minute.
Yep.
And he said he thinks Barbara Blackburn is bad.
Yeah.
And we were like, whoa.
There was a lot of shade. That was actually, we had to cut the mic.
Yeah.
Because we were like, hang on.
Nobody talks
Justice
about
for Barbara
Blackburn that way
in
my house. She typed upwards of words a minute.
Yeah. Anyways, today we're going to be talking about the TikTok ban.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of stuff to talk about with that. What else are we talking about, Anthony?
We are talking about a new Dreamlight Valley game, kind of.
We're talking about the most wonderful potential collection of words that I literally had to put in our run of show. I'm not making this up, even though it sounds like something I would.
It's good. It's specifically for Saiges, but also specifically for everyone, I think.
I'm super excited about it. We got a new trailer for the new Crow movie.
We've got wrapped up in this TikTok ban. We've got some other TikTok news.
We do.
And also
we'll get to all that.
We'll get to all that.
And we have a special segment for you at the end of the show.
That's right.
Anthony, did you see NSYNC reunited? Just before we get into all the TikTok stuff. Did you see that?
Man, do you want to talk about middle sliders on tour?
Yeah. They didn't even do the choreography, dog.
No, they can't do that anymore. Maybe Timberlake can still dance a little bit if he needs to. You think Fatone is still dancing?
I don't know.
Shazay?
It was very funny because...
What does Shazay look like now?
I mean, we have the answers to all of that.
Let's find out.
I wasn't going to get too far into it. I just put it in here.
Yeah.
Here it is. I don't remember all of the NSYNC members' names, if I'm being perfectly honest.
I know Lance Bass.
Give me a left to right, yeah.
From Netflix's The Circle.
Lance Bass looks fucking great.
Lance Bass looks amazing.
Lance Bass aged backwards. Everyone else kept going. Gay people don't age as fast.
That's the thing.
Gay people don't age as fast. That's just true.
Thing. And they can,
we live forever. So I found this very interesting because of a few things. One, these outfits are atrocious.
Dude, nobody.
Take us back to this picture really quick. Just because these are the worst outfits.
Y'all have so much
Except
money.
for Lance Bass.
You all have so much money.
Yeah.
Why don't you have just a tailor?
Who's far right?
Far right is other one.
Somebody tell me who far right is.
I know Joey, Lance, JC, Justin, and Frankie the bonus in sync.
Right.
Frankie. Chris, that's Chris Kirkpatrick. Whoa.
Okay,
but Chris is the one.
Is that really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Chris is the one where like when they made fun of it, when they made fun of boy bands on SNL,
Yeah.
like they made like Bobby Moynihan play Chris, like and pretend to be 45.
Why is he wearing 3 different shades of black? Why do you do that?
Now, are those jeans or cargo pants on Chris Kirkpatrick? Are they both?
I think they're shiny, like leathery jeans, and it looks like he's wearing a big flower, like the clowns, where if you get too close, it's going to spray water at you.
Right. He's the Joker, baby.
Yeah, I just don't get it. And also, here's the thing: you invited them all out. Did Justin Timberlake tell them all to wear black, and he was going to wear tan because he's a special boy? Because this wasn't a Justin Timberlake show. I'll give him that at least.
No, because I think JC is wearing, that looks like it might be a navy with pinstripe, but it's the most atrocious, like,
I think it's black.
Cartoon pinstripe I've ever seen. Here's what's up.
Joey Fatone.
Lance looks amazing, right?
Phenomenal.
Justin looks like, you know how every good-looking queer person on a red carpet right now is wearing something that's like a little boxy, and a little loose.
Yeah.
He's doing like the most boring guy version of that.
Yeah.
He's like, I heard I was supposed to wear a suit that's slightly big.
He made a really good Pinterest board of outfits and then tried to get it himself and bought the safest option.
Yes.
Yeah.
He was like, I'm going to really look good. You know, when somebody's like, I'm going to really look good for this wedding. I really want to like go all out for this. And then they get into the store and they're like, I can't do it. I can't do it.
It's like when people are like, I'm going to recreate this makeup look. But they have different features. It's not easy to do.
Yeah, and they're just afraid to go dramatic because they don't normally go dramatic.
Yeah.
And this is the middle slider problem.
I used to be a makeup artist, and the amount of women that would come in and bring me a photo of Kim Kardashian, because this was 2017, would bring me a photo of Kim Kardashian and be like, I don't want to wear too much makeup. I want this look. I want to look really natural.
That's
I want to
two
look
different
like
things
this.
you're saying.
And then they would be like, don't put too much on. And they would stop you from putting a lot of makeup on, but they would want to look like Kim Kardashian.
Is this before TikTok tutorial or YouTube tutorials taught everyone that it's actually a lot of makeup to look natural? Or were these people
YouTube
that just
tutorials
didn't know?
have been around since 2007.
I know.
No, people just weren't paying attention.
But they didn't reach the olds yet.
Yeah, maybe it was just that they hadn't reached the olds yet. I don't know. A lot of people just didn't understand. And that's fair. But that's what that suit is giving to me. They reunited. They sounded pretty good, but they did not dance. And I was like, this isn't something. I understand that if out of nowhere, right? NSYNC's in retirement, and one day somebody comes and knocks on their door and is like, you got to get up and dance right now. I understand that these men would not be able to do so. However, you know what else I know? This show has been planned for a long time. They could have trained up.
That's right.
They could have done it. The Spice Girls do it. The Spice Girls do it every time.
They're still doing the little hoppies. They only know how to do the little hoppies still.
Yeah.
But you would think that one of their routines would be burned into their brain. I've got it on my screen right here, Alex. Nailed it. The lighting was on point. We can say that. Did you see those lights? Beautiful.
Yeah.
They were on. They were
on. Yeah. They looked great.
I think this is a cool thing if you go to first of all, if you go to a Justin Timberlake concert, just about anything's a cool thing to you.
Yeah.
If you go to a Justin Timberlake concert, you're like, man, I saw a crock pot that was the most unique color.
Right.
You wouldn't believe.
Yeah. It's not for those dense with personality.
Right. So this is a good surprise.
Uh-huh.
That's kind of cool to see them all come out.
Sure. Yeah.
They were the biggest thing in the world for years. That's kind of neat to get them as a surprise.
Yeah.
And if they can still sing, that's a double surprise.
I'd much rather see NSYNC than Justin Timberlake.
Oh,
personally.
for sure. I hate to say who's going to a Justin Timberlake show in 2024, but
I'll say it.
At the same time, like, why? For what?
For what?
For who?
For that song from the Trolls movie?
I mean, the Trolls movie is full of just bangers, club bangers.
Yeah. Well, then just go see the Trolls movie. Don't
Have you
pay
ever
for Justin
seen a
Timberlake
Trolls
ticket.
movie?
No.
Me neither. Was it you that I was sitting in a theater during a movie and Trolls 3, like whatever the latest Trolls movie was, like a trailer came on and we were just like, wow, this still exists.
That sounds like us.
What are they doing?
Yeah. Still trolling. All right.
Still Trolls.
Wow.
Still Timberlake.
Mm-hmm.
Still NSYNC.
Yeah.
Chris Kirkpatrick is there as he always was,
Sure.
apparently.
Yeah.
I feel like we've all been Mandela effect.
Yeah. Mandela.
Medulla oblongata.
Yeah. It's.
I know, it's Nelson Mandela, but it's also
Are you trying to Mandela affect me right now?
You're
You're trying to Mandela affect me right this second?
I guess he was always there, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Or they're trying to make us believe he was always there. Five Guys? Five Guys.
The burgers?
Yeah. Did they create Five Guys? No, were there always five guys in NSYNC?
Yeah.
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 Right?
Yeah.
But not Chris.
5 guys.
I'd remember if there was a
5
Chris.
guys that included Lance Bass and Justin Timberlake.
Yeah.
You know? That's it. Anyways,
So do you know why I always remember JC Chazé?
Why?
In high school, before NSYNC was famous, I got dumped for JC Chazé.
What?
I was seeing this girl and she started dating this cool older guy who was in a band that was in Europe. And she played the music one day for people and I was like, this sucks. They're never going to be huge. Fuck that guy. No, they were the biggest thing in the world. So I remember his name.
Wow. That was a fun bit of Anthony lore we didn't know. Well, all right, let's talk about this TikTok ban, shall we?
Sure.
So, first and foremost, some facts out of the way. It's not a TikTok ban. It is a bill that has now passed through the House unanimously that would force ByteDance to sell their United States operations of TikTok to an American company of our government's choosing.
So we mentioned this a little bit last week where we were like, hey, why this? Why now? And, you know, a lot of people particularly on TikTok are talking about it because a lot of people have been making their living off of TikTok. A lot of people have been getting news on TikTok. A lot of people have been sharing information on TikTok in a way that is very unique to that platform.
Yeah.
I've seen since this got announced, and it was literally announced like yesterday. I've seen so many TikToks from people that are like, I never knew that my politics were as common as they were. I never knew that my lifestyle is as common as it is. I never knew things about myself emotionally or anything. And the thing is, this is a massive way to share information that is not owned by the American government or a company that is beholden to the American government.
That actively lobbies the American government, right? That funnels money to it. This has been a massive asset for people gaining information within the United States to spread information about boycotts, general things about the conflict in Palestine, general things about like, hey, maybe you would have only heard Israeli propaganda before, and now you actually are able to hear directly information from people in Palestine.
Yep.
Things of all of that sort through many of these. It was the same thing when we were, talking about Russia and Ukraine. It's been useful in talking about people's business practices. It has spread information in a way that the U.S. is incredibly uncomfortable with, especially the most avid voting population having, right?
And in addition, there is a huge, huge amount of money that is simply not going to American billionaires.
Yeah.
It's going to people on the other side of the world. And we can't have that.
We can't have that. And fortunately for us as Americans, we have generations of propaganda that we've been using against China anyways to spread xenophobia that we can just call upon. So
And look, here's
let's
the
go ahead
thing.
and activate the trap card.
We're not saying like, goodness gracious, look at how wonderful the Chinese government is.
No.
We're not saying that.
What I will say is compare it to your own.
Yeah.
Here's what I will say. If you're going to view the Chinese government as evil, right? Whatever it is to you, do compare it to your own. And I'm not going to say you're going to come back with Chinese government good, but I will say you might go, Chinese government actually same bad as my bad? How interesting.
Yeah.
How interesting.
Pretty comparable in most ways.
Yeah, how interesting. Citizens in China are at a 90% home ownership rate. I don't know. Just throwing it out there.
So yeah, they definitely want to put this. This is more about control of media and control of money than it is about real, genuine concerns about data theft and tracking. We've talked about this before. It doesn't matter if you've turned off every single thing you can on your computer and your phone. If you're walking around with a phone,
Yeah.
they know where you are.
Absolutely.
They absolutely, the government, whoever,
Yeah.
corporations first, not even the government first, private corporations know everywhere you go and everything you do at all times now.
Absolutely.
They absolutely roll over and give that information to the government every time the government asks.
And they're not saying it's a problem that your information is being obtained by private companies. They're saying it's a problem that those companies aren't the ones we picked.
Right.
There are obviously no efforts to do the same for Meta, for instance,
Yeah,
or
no.
Amazon.
We love Meta. Meta's great. Cambridge Analytica is great. And
Yeah.
nothing bad happened there.
Yeah.
Google is dope as shit.
Yeah, absolutely. And doing only good things.
Put a
with your
Jeff
information.
Bezos computer ear in every room of your house, please.
Yeah.
It's all good. What's wrong is when we give it to China. That's bad.
Yes.
And like, look, on a base level, there is something to be said for that thesis statement, right? Should we be giving a huge amount of information about American citizens? Should that be funneling into other places? No, but should we also be taking that information from private citizens to begin with for our own needs? No.
Well, besides, actually, just to issue like a little bit of a correction to that,
Yeah.
TikTok has proven time and time again that information about American users
Yes.
is not given to any part of the Chinese company. They have a base of operations already in America that operates the American portion of TikTok.
It would be wildly.
They've already had to prove so in court.
It would be wildly restrictive of them to only operate in China. They would have so many issues, just technical issues trying to do that.
Yeah.
And they also would not be as huge as they were or as they are if they only had an office in China. Like they have to have offices on every continent so they can stay in touch with the user base there.
Yes.
We're not giving any more information to them than we give to our government. And like you're saying, we are potentially and probably giving them much less.
Yes.
There's a whole thing where people are saying, well, there's what they're saying, and then there's the secrets of what they might be doing in the code. And it's like, man, not really. Like, not really. Apple like can tell when they do an audit of an app that's going into going into the app store. They can tell what requests it makes. Yeah. The phone, like, especially in newer versions of iOS, they're very good about the phone popping up and going, this is exactly what the app is trying to get from you.
Right.
And none of the stuff that TikTok asks for is
new.
particularly wild.
None of it is new. None of it is information that Meta isn't taking from us, using and selling to facilitate their own control of American politics. Like, come on.
If you are worried, like, that's the thing. If you are worried about the data that is going from TikTok to anyone, you need to be worried about all of the data. You need to be worried about all privacy and all data protection.
And you probably should be. Here's the thing.
No, you have
should
to be.
You should be. But you can also do so because there are these people that are like, oh, I'm really special and I'm very safe on the internet, so no one has my information. And you need to know that's not fucking true. You're also, if you're on the internet, unless you are going off the grid, your information is held by all of these large companies. I promise. I don't care how many VPNs you've got, how many safety measures you think you've put in place. It doesn't matter. You would literally have to be completely disconnected from the internet with no profiles and never had them in the first place. Okay? So like, Your information is out there. Is that a bad thing? Yes, it is.
Oh, it's awful.
But for some reason, that's not the concern here.
No. Because
for some reason, that's not what actually is being regulated.
Because American friend of American.
Ah, yes, of course.
American, I've never met a bad American in my life. I've never disagreed with an American.
No.
Never.
Never.
American?
Great.
Amazing. I can't think of a single American that I have ever even had the most basic quarrel with.
Nope.
It's all beautiful and love over here. And so it's only problem if other people know.
So let's talk about then the actual details of what happened this week, because we're talking about the general concept of the ban last week and our opinions on it. Obviously, you know how we feel, but let's talk about what actually happened.
Yeah.
So this passed through the House. That does not mean that this bill is taking effect.
But it did pass through the House with over 80% of the House
Yes.
voting for it. Imagine 80% of the government
Agreeing on anything.
On literally anything. When was the last time you heard 80% of the government agree? It was probably we gotta go over there and get those WMDs was the last time I heard.
Yeah, probably.
You know what I mean?
They can't seem to figure out literally what a baby is.
No.
They can't define what a baby is. They cannot figure that out. Yet, unanimous on TikTok.
Every time I go to Texas, I go through the What a Baby drive-through. You know?
But like, I mean, Texas, of course. It's very interesting. We've also literally seen members of the House that like basically ran their campaigns through TikTok voting for this bill.
It's wild.
Unhinged. Absolutely psychotic.
That is how you know
yeah.
that it is not really about TikTok.
Because here's the thing. If it was about TikTok and it was about everyone's privacy, none of these politicians would have the app, right?
Can I?
If you're like, oh my God, I need to vote for this to be banned, right?
Do you know how easy it is for these people to vote for protections that make sense?
Yeah.
A lot of the government, we go, they're old and they don't understand and they're fear-mongering just to get votes.
Yeah.
No, a lot of them do understand. We have to remember that a lot of them play dumber than they are. It's so easy to pass common sense protections. If you're here in California and you open up a website on your phone, on your computer, anywhere, it says, hi, you live in California. Because you live in California, we have to ask you, is it cool if we collect personal information on you?
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah.
And when you click no, they're not allowed. No cookies, no trackers, no nothing. They're not allowed.
Yes.
It's the easiest thing in the world to pass common sense protections.
And they're not even trying
And they're
that.
not trying.
They're not saying, hey, if you're going to operate in the US, you have to follow these specific guidelines. They don't care about that.
No.
Because it's never been about that. It's never been about your privacy. America didn't wake up last week and go, should we start caring about Americans' privacy and data?
I'm worried that we've been giving up our data.
I'm worried that Americans don't feel protected by us, the American government. Let's go ahead and start this regulation. That didn't
thank
happen.
goodness. You're right. We don't feel protected by you. There's so many things that we have got to get. What are you thinking about doing?
Oh, I was going to ban that app on your phone. You know the one where you go for funny little things, where you look at videos of cats?
Yeah, I was hoping that maybe you would protect workers or stop like I don't know if you heard, but Florida just made it so employees can't take water breaks.
Oh no, that app is looking real sus to me.
The one where the kids
it looks like communism.
The one where all the kids self-diagnose.
Yeah, because communism.
Because they can't afford medical care. Have you thought about the medical care thing?
You know what's keeping you from medical care?
What?
Communism.
Now, I don't know about that. That doesn't sound right to me. Communism?
Have you ever been a resident of China? That's what I thought. How interesting. So let's keep talking about what this means, right? So what happens next? There is a whole other branch of the government that this bill has to go through. We have already heard from members of the Congress that they are not interested in rushing it through in the same way that the House did. The House did so in only 4 days from proposal of bill to approval, which is like an absolutely unheard of timeline that doesn't happen for anything much more pressing, like, you know, human rights, for instance.
They got together and they did it so fast.
Yeah.
They did it so fast.
Yeah.
Because it's literally
right.
a useless law that only makes them money. And they were able to do it so quickly. I'm not even livid.
Yeah.
I'm just so tired.
Now,
I'm so tired.
They snuck some things into this bill that also would affect your ability to use VPNs, which is a huge concern.
That's massive that they snuck that in.
That's real fucked.
Do we know what the exact wording or the terms of that are?
Alex, would you be able to look up what the language is in that bill about VPNs by chance?
Because that's one of the few things that we have that marginally protect us. Don't believe all your favorite podcasters when they tell you that a VPN is going to do it for you. Mm-hmm. You still need more, but a VPN's a great start. Yeah. And the fact that they want to get rid of your ability to just simply browse the internet without them knowing everything you've done.
Yeah.
Bonkers.
Right.
Bonkers that they would try to throw that in.
Very interesting, considering it was about your privacy. Yeah. How interesting. It's wild. So I put a video out this week talking about this because the sheer speed of this does make me feel that this is a distraction. We know that the next branch of government that it has to go through is on the brink of a shutdown that is going to make this take a very long time if it even goes through. If it goes through, then it goes to Joe Biden's desk, who has said that if it does arrive on his desk,
he'll sign it.
He'll sign it. And then 180 days after that, TikTok would be off your phones, right? If they do not sell in that 180 days to an American-based company. I'm seeing a lot of misinformation about things like ByteDance would have to sell the entirety of TikTok. There's a bunch of people being like, well, why would they sell TikTok if we're not even their most valuable market? No. They don't have to sell the entirety of TikTok.
They just have to
sell their U.S. operations and divest from American users.
So there would be two companies. There would be TikTok, and there would essentially be TikTok America.
Which a lot of companies have this. That does exist. This isn't unheard of. But there are a ton of videos, people being like, well, they're not going to sell because why would they sell TikTok when we're not their most valuable market? And I'm like, they don't have to sell all of TikTok.
No.
That's not how it works.
The way this works is that they make sure that all of the wealthy people continue making money. So
with that, you can think, well, what would be beneficial for ByteDance about selling? They could either not have American users and make no money from it, or not really have American users in their grasp and make some money from it. In addition, they're currently a private company. If they ever did decide to go publicly traded, having the American market would be extremely valuable for stock prices, even if it is operated as two different bases of operation.
Yeah, because it's still a business and a brand that people associate with. And so it's do you know what this would be, Saige? We would get like Nara Dreamland.
Yeah.
We would get like Nara Dreamland.
Knock off TikTok?
Yeah, we would get like, well, there isn't a Disneyland here, so we'll just make the Disneyland here.
Yeah.
And it's
it was once a Disneyland, but now it's kind of...
It wasn't, then it was, then it wasn't.
Right.
It's really fascinating because for the end user, and this is the thing that's particularly kind of insidious about this, is for the end user that doesn't want to pay attention or doesn't care to pay attention to a lot of this stuff, nothing's going to change.
No.
Nothing's going to change from an end user perspective.
Well,
until the way that I have a feeling your data on TikTok will become just even more public and sold than it ever was in the past.
The way I see it changing, should it be sold to an American company that the American government is interested in selling it to, or individual or whatever, is it ends up being Instagram Reels. It ends up being worse. Like, I do think that absolutely the app would get worse for user experience in pretty much every way.
Well, in terms of
censorship
content
would get worse.
Well, that's what I was going to say. In terms of content, obviously things would change.
I think ads would get worse.
When I say to the end, I dare TikTok ads to become more prevalent or worse. No, I don't. They
absolutely can.
But
have you tried Facebook?
Yeah,
Facebook has a Reels section.
We've already discussed how you don't have ads the way a lot of people have ads.
I have ads. I just don't have TikTok Shop.
No, it's wild, the amount of ads
I get the same amount of sponsored posts. They're just not about TikTok Shop.
But I think in terms of like content and things like that, when I say it will be invisible to the end user that doesn't care, they will not notice the censorship.
Yeah.
The end user that doesn't care about this stuff will not notice the subtle change in content.
Yeah.
The people who do notice will seem like a small, weird vocal minority.
Yeah.
As they always do with things like this.
Right.
As they were with Facebook, with Tumblr, with all of these things.
Yeah.
Where people are like, oh, it's just a bunch of like people who are just so into this app.
Yeah.
The core, like the really core sweaty user fan base don't like the changes, but
Right.
it really seems the same to me.
Alex said that he found the bill. Alex, did you get your mic working?
I think it should be working. Hello.
I see an Alex mic
I
working.
see it.
There we go.
Fantastic.
You're out of focus, but you're there.
Oh, there we go.
Great.
Hi.
Hello. Good morning. I'm here. So this bill says that it's all about prohibiting foreign adversary-controlled applications.
Yeah, of course.
Talking about, of course, China. But it also includes, in Part B, the prohibition on providing internet hosting services, which I'm assuming VPNs, to enable the distribution, maintenance, or updating of foreign adversary-controlled applications.
That's
This
that-
internet hosting thing.
that sounds frighteningly close to China's firewall.
It means a service through which storage and computing resources are provided to an individual or organization to maintain websites and online services, which may include file hosting, domain name server hosting, cloud hosting, and virtual private server hosting.
Oh,
There it is.
dude, they are going after foreign file hosting services
Yep.
that are responsible for disseminating not just information, but if people like, I'm gonna put the latest episode of this TV show up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna put it up on this file hosting service for everyone, and it's hosted offshore.
Yep.
They are gonna get rid of that. They are gonna get rid of any
Right.
IP from any corporation.
Again, I think that they can sneak things by, but use their trap card to frighten people into it by leading with China, TikTok, communism, scary.
Yeah,
That's
this
it.
is the erosion of rights
Yeah.
under the protection from a foreign power, which is just
Right.
such a historical, man, it's not even a surprising move. It's not even a particularly facile move. It's
Right.
literally the most blunt force government move
Yeah.
that the government always uses.
Right.
And why do we just not get smarter as human beings?
We do not.
Do we just not get any
Now,
smarter?
Ace Frem adds, I think, something that's very important because foreign adversary is actually defined in another law, which is naming four specific countries: Cuba, Russia, China, and North Korea.
Okay.
Which is very interesting considering Meta's relationship with China, with Russia. But that's besides the point.
Yeah. Now that's-
very interesting considering all of that. Also, it's not like Meta doesn't have any operations in any of
Well,
these
that's what I
countries
was-
too.
that's what I was going to
Meta's
say.
also heavily involved in China.
Why is it cool that our large companies have offices and business? This is the thing that I hate. I hate the idea of when we make a bill about China, we make a grand gesture as the United States
Yeah.
of saying this foreign adversary.
Right.
And then we just roll over and make billion-dollar deals.
Yep.
The number of companies in all fields
Yeah.
that over the last 5 years in particular have taken massive investments from
Yeah.
China. The number of companies that are moving into China and think of China as the main market or the secondary market. Hollywood movies change their content right now,
Yeah.
so they'll play in China.
Correct.
If you pitch a movie to a big studio and it won't play in China, they're just
Yeah.
like, we can't make that movie
No.
because it's half our money. But we want to posture like we're going to go to war with them at any time, in any moment. And so we have to cut everything off because they're a
Yeah.
foreign power.
I wonder how many things still call upon this like list of foreign adversaries and how rare it is to list it as specifically the foreign adversaries of those, specific four countries. Because clearly that is an old list,
Yeah.
right? That is an old anti-communism Cold War
Dude, the
list of
Cuba
countries.
thing is just so
Correct.
wild.
That is clearly just a weird anti-communism list of countries. And not, again, clearly we're not very active about those being our foreign adversaries as the country who has had no interest in helping with Russia's invasion of Ukraine and no interest in protecting Ukraine from supposedly our foreign adversary. How interesting.
Yeah.
How interesting, America. If Russia is our foreign adversary, why is it only a problem when Russia communism and not when Russia try to commit genocide and invade other countries?
Right.
How interesting that only foreign adversary then.
The fact that it's like two different governments right now.
Yeah.
One for the actual population and one for
businesses.
Yeah. Is absolutely bonkers.
Right.
It's absolutely bonkers.
I'm also of the opinion that the bill being rushed through this quickly is a distraction. I really am. I really do think that it is a fucking smoke bomb. It is a look over here. It's a worry about your TikTok. And please stop calling us out for not calling for a ceasefire or using any of our power in any of these places that we could be massively effective of for protecting human life.
See, look,
please look at your TikTok.
We're protecting you right now.
Yeah.
And
look over here.
And half of the population, like honestly, the older people who are less connected.
Yeah.
To the internet, people who follow these things a lot less.
Yeah.
Certainly your Fox News people are going to look at this and be like, oh, thank goodness.
Yeah.
This is actually pretty good, we think.
Anthony?
Yeah.
You been on TikTok a lot this week?
Yeah. Some.
I feel like the content's kind of fire right now.
It's honestly... It's been a solid week for TikTok. My tinfoil hat says that TikTok is really tweaking the algorithm to make sure people love TikTok before anything happens.
I also think creators are just kind of like, well, one last hurrah. Let's be fucking funny as hell. I think the content right now, chef's kiss, fire.
Yeah.
People are bringing out their best work.
They really are.
For a potential going away party.
And TikTok is showing it to me, which it hasn't been doing for a while.
Sure.
I do want to say that the direct definition here of foreign adversary, I looked it up. Foreign adversary means any foreign government or foreign non-government person determined by the Secretary of State to have engaged in a long-term pattern or serious instances of conduct significantly adverse to the national security of the United States or security and safety of United States persons. Now,
but if we have a law in place that defines who that is already.
That's what it is. So it's basically like anybody that the Secretary of State has the Office of the Secretary of State has decided fills those requirements. Right? So it's not something that goes to a vote. It's not something that goes even out publicly necessarily.
Right.
The list of foreign adversaries, the Office of the Secretary of State sits down and they go, okay, who do we think has been performing, has a long-term pattern of stuff that is adverse to national security or is being particularly egregious about national security right now. So that means if they decide, even though it's these 4 countries, if they decide next week that some other country, if they decide that, I don't know, it could be anyone, but if they decide that it's some Brazil, if they go, we don't like the way Brazil is
looking at
us, and we think Brazil has been bad about our information. So Brazil is now a foreign adversary.
Right.
If they are particularly using the idea of personal information and protection of and spreading of files and things like that, it's not going to take a lot. And once again, I'm being worst case scenario here when I'm interpreting this. It won't take much for them to go, hey, you have too much US data on your servers. You are now a foreign adversary. We have to make sure that people are protected. That US data isn't necessarily a list of phone numbers or social security numbers.
Right.
It could be the latest season of Love is Blind. On a server. They're like, hey, that's American information.
We don't like it.
Stop stealing American information.
Stop doing that.
It's, once again, this is worst case scenario, but this is how the feature creep of these rules.
We kind of live in worst case scenario.
Yeah. I mean, think about the number of things that the Patriot Act was temporary. Department of Homeland Security powers were temporary.
Right.
Paying to check a bag on the airline was temporary.
Right.
But that's the thing. Once these things become normalized, they can just stick around.
Yeah.
And they can expand. And the government loves to expand. They love that shit.
Well, in response to it, people are really, as Sarah in the chat said, driving it like they stole it. Got some fire content.
Oh, goodness me.
I really do want to watch this one video before we move on
Yes.
to where politics are different than ours, but not better. Let's just watch this together as a family.
Yeah.
This is a video from somebody about their Shein order.
Yeah.
Received a package from Shein that contained a vial of human blood from a testing company. It had no name, no doctor's office, no date. The lady from the testing company said they're trying to track it down. She said that it was completely mishandled. They don't even ship to residents. They only ship blood back and forth between doctors.
Sounds
And
like
she
something
said
a
even
vampire
if it
would
was
say.
a blood sample, it would have had to been refrigerated, and it wasn't. So just totally odd. That has never happened. We called the CDC. They're aware of it, and they're
Oh my
filing
God.
a report, and they're looking into it because it's a major biohazard. We called the local sheriff. The sheriff's department came. They took the vial. They're going to be testing it, and they said that they can reach out to the CDC if they find anything concerning. So basically, just if you receive a Shein package, especially one that's in a FedEx, like if you've done express shipping, dump it out on a table and look at everything before you touch it, and then sanitize your hands. Be extremely careful. I'll post an update when I hear back from the lab and maybe even from the CDC.
Now, Snake Zero in the live studio audience says something that I said, which is like, when I saw the headline, I was like, this is somebody doing a bit. This is somebody doing something for clout. This is somebody that's trying to make a point. No, this has been checked into. Alex, if you want to show my screen here are some photos that were released by that sheriff's department that the woman took when she first got this package. It wasn't just a vial of blood. It was also a can of Goya beans.
Now, why the beans?
It was a can of Goya beans
Uh-huh.
and a vial of blood. That's what it was. Thank you, Alex. She did a series of TikToks, and the laboratory, which is Exact Sciences, has indeed made a statement about this. Exact Sciences basically told her what she said in the TikTok. They were like, look,
oops,
this doesn't happen. We don't know how you got this.
That shouldn't have happened.
They did check, and they went up with their records, and they said the blood in the vial was intended for a cancer screening, did not contain any diseases. So, and certainly was not a super virus or vampire blood that was meant to turn a fledgling.
Yeah, okay. Now it's better. All better now. As long as Shein isn't sending out diseased blood.
I think that this has probably precious little to do with like Shein, main Shein. So what happens is Shein has a fulfillment center in Los Angeles. That's one of their American fulfillment centers. They do keep a large amount of stock in that fulfillment center. So this was probably somebody in the fulfillment center in Los Angeles who either mistakenly or on purpose put some Goya beans in blood.
But like for what?
For protein and iron.
I guess that would be the benefit.
You know, all you need is a little bit. Well, the beans have fiber too. That's a good lunch. Somebody lost a real good lunch. And they were like, man, I brought a great lunch today and I don't know what happened to it. Now I got to go to that sandwich place across the street that has the mediocre sandwiches, but they're $20.
Right.
I like to bring a little vial of blood.
Yeah.
For lunch.
I go up at the counter and I still have to tip.
Yeah. Sucks.
Does suck.
Those sandwiches are pre-made.
Right.
Who am I tipping? I just want my bean blood. It's the simple things.
Her advice was if you are receiving a package from Shein, sanitize your hands, be careful how you open it. I think our advice would be don't order from Shein. I think the advice could simply be do not order from Shein.
Oh, one person gets vampire blood and all of a sudden you're against a company. They also got beans.
Free beans.
You are so glass half empty. You
Yeah.
are so vial of blood half
Yeah.
empty all the time. Only one person in the history of Shein
Yeah.
has ever gotten a vial of blood in the mail.
Look, I am so the stitches holding my garment together half empty, you know?
I am so secret lead
Yeah.
in my t-shirt
Yeah.
is half full.
Look, I'm so landfills so full of Shein clothing.
I love all of my clothing to come out of the dryer smelling half burned.
Yeah.
That's what I'm like.
Yeah.
And you're like, I like it to smell half empty.
Yeah. I like it to smell like almost nothing. Empty, in fact.
In this Gizmodo article here, they say that they've reached out to FedEx for comment, but I don't think FedEx is going
FedEx
to
doesn't give
comment
a
about
shit.
this.
They're just like, we pick up a package, we drop off a package. Don't involve us in this. Because here's the thing. She didn't receive someone else's package. Like, if it was just beans and blood, you would be like, someone was shipping beans and blood
Beans
somewhere.
and blood is the most famous breakfast in England.
Kind of.
They love beans and blood.
But she got beans and blood and clothes from Shein. So it definitely came from Shein.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if the clothes weren't in there, I would be like, this is a postal problem, probably.
Right. You know, I have had friends who open up packages where it's very clear what the package is supposed to be.
Yeah.
And then they open up the package and it's empty or it's been replaced with something.
Yeah.
And anybody along the logistics chain could have
Right.
done that. Right?
I've ordered things from Amazon and gotten something totally different. I've seen a few people posting recently that they've gotten sealed empty packages from Amazon.
Oh, yeah.
Which is pretty funny.
Oh, yeah.
a bummer for
Listen,
them.
hey, everybody in Amazon fulfillment centers, keep stealing.
Yeah.
Keep stealing.
Yeah.
Because you just email Amazon and they're just kind of like, shit. Okay,
Yeah.
we'll send you another one of these things.
Right.
I've never had that not happen with Amazon. I've never had Amazon say, you lying to me?
They don't have time for that. They
You lying
ship
to
too many
me?
things a day.
Yeah, I'm sure if it's something really expensive,
Yeah.
they might.
Right.
But for the most part, if something gets screwed up, I'm just like, Amazon, send me one. You didn't send it.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're like, okay, we'll send you one. And then sometimes two show up on the same day.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what do I do with this other one? And Amazon's like, we don't care.
Not our fucking problem.
We literally don't give a shit.
I will say Amazon has gotten less easygoing about that.
Mm-hmm.
It used to be on Amazon that a bunch of people were pulling scams of being like, my package didn't arrive and then just getting a second one. Now they do have the delivery drivers take a photo when it gets dropped off on your porch to avoid that and stuff like that. But,
Have you seen the Ring cameras?
I just
though?
don't want you all to like
You know the Ring camera videos?
go for a brilliant scam and then not
of
be able to.
delivery people putting the thing down,
Yeah.
taking the picture, and then picking the package back up and walking away with it.
I
Have you seen
haven't.
those? It's beautiful. There's a whole like genre of Ring camera videos that are just like the delivery person took a picture and then picked it back up and left with it.
I stopped ordering from Postmates recently because a delivery driver was in the area and I could see, it tracks them. It shows where the car is. They texted me and they were like, I can't find the building. And I was like, here's where it is. And then they just drove away. They just left with the food and then they marked it as delivered. I like got on the phone with this person. They're like, I can't find it. And they just left.
I can't. Postmates is more infuriating to me than Amazon.
Yeah.
Because if a Postmates or an Uber or whoever, if that driver
Yeah.
walks away with my food, I'm hungry for another hour.
Yep. Same.
I'm so mad and hungry
Right.
and tired for another hour.
I only order food when I'm like, I need food delivered because I have a very long work day. I do not have the ability to go and like make food right now.
Yeah.
I'm somewhere I can't do that. I'm at work. It's the only time I'm ordering Postmates anyways, is because it's like, I don't have a fucking lunch break. So yeah, I that's just one of those things where it's like, yeah. And they were like, are you sure? Because it says it's delivered.
So I've done Uber Eats deliveries.
Uh-huh.
And there was one time where their app for drivers is so bad. When a
Yeah.
driver's like, I can't find you or I don't know what's going on, give them the tiniest bit of grace because that Uber app is terrible. I had to know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So one time I accidentally, when I was trying to verify that I was going in the right direction to somebody's address, I accidentally hit the button for delivered. And once you hit the button for delivered, all of that information disappears and there's no way to get it back. And I immediately got on to like the driver support. I was like, yo, I accidentally hit deliver.
You have to give me where
I'm
to
standing
put this.
here with this food. It's within a block. Just tell me where it is. They're like, we cannot give you that information. We do not know where that information is. We cannot retrieve it. I was like, no, you do. You have it. Can you please just tell me where it is and what apartment number? And they're like, no, we cannot. And I was like, okay, well, what does this do to me?
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, no. We'll
Nothing.
make sure that the order gets remade and redelivered.
No, they
You're
don't.
Fine. You're fine. You're going to be good. No.
And they don't.
And
They don't remake it and redeliver it. They just refund you and then you don't get food.
And also, the person still gets to give the original driver a review. And so I got a negative review for that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And if you have like one negative review out of 100, every time you open up the app, it's red and angry at you. Every time you open up the app, it's like, you did it. You're a bad driver. Everyone hate you.
Yeah.
And if you are bad one more time, we
Going
will
to jail.
We will simply throw you into the sea.
Yeah.
And then you'll never, and not only that, but we won't let the good people bring you food either.
Yeah.
You're bad and wrong. And I'm
Right.
like, dude, I tried.
And you know what's wild?
I did eat that salmon though. I ate that person's salmon. What was I supposed to do at that point?
What are you going to do? Throw it away?
What am I?
No.
What am I going to ethically throw away that salmon?
No.
Stick it in the middle of the street and be like, salmon here.
Here's the other thing too. If you tipped the driver in advance, which when you make your order, you tip before you get your delivery, right? You select it beforehand. This is an order I was putting in for the studio, right? Multiple people's food. I had pre-tipped like $10 and they won't give that back to you.
No,
They say you can have $10 of Uber credit.
that's right. That's right.
Bananas. Anyways, we're just complaining now. We're completely off topic.
Anyway,
there was a couple
blood.
of other pieces of like actual news that like
Blood.
we can kind of quickly throw through. I really do want to talk about this before we lose the chance to. Dreamlight Valley devs are making a life sim RPG set in the Baldur's Gate 3 world.
Yo,
Can you believe that collection of words together?
that's such a bonkers headline and description of a real game that's really coming.
Those are two of my favorite games of the last 10 years.
I do think it's wild that we are in a place in human history where we are stoked about a Game Loft game. I never would have seen that on my bingo card 10 years ago.
Dreamlight
But
Valley
Dreamlight
slaps
Valley
so
was
hard.
good.
I just got back into playing it. Slapped so hard. Phenomenal. I love that game so much. One of the best
Now,
farming sims,
Alex
life
is-
sims they've like that anyone has done.
Yeah, Alex is typing something that I was literally about to say, which is, it's so funny that the brand
Yeah.
is Baldur's Gate,
Yeah.
when that just means you're setting
It does just
in
mean
Dungeons
D&D.
and Dragons.
It's in right. But here's what I will say specifically, because they're also saying Baldur's Gate 3, they're using this for attention. They're using this as accessibility for people who don't play D&D, obviously. However, there are like specific things of it that it's like, oh, my guess from this was more than it's just like you're going into the Forgotten Realms or whatever or anything of that. It's like familiar places to the actual
Yes.
game is my guess.
It will have
from this.
It will have landmarks. It will have characters. It will have a specific type of art and writing style that
That's
people,
my guess.
that people associate with Baldur's
Yeah.
Gate.
But it could just straight up be the Forgotten Realms and they're just using it for attention.
Yeah.
Genuinely. Like, I don't know. But every article has specifically said Baldur's Gate.
Yeah.
Which makes me think that that would be like specific locations that would be familiar to people that played Baldur's
and
Gate.
it would be wild.
I mean?
It would be wild for them not to capitalize
Yeah.
on the popularity of not just that game, but the characters and
Yeah.
the fan base for the specific characters.
Yeah.
And I mean, Dreamlight Valley is so character focused.
Yeah.
What characters are you unlocking? What Disney characters do you know?
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be Baldur's Gate 3,
Yeah.
the farming sim, the Stardew Valley.
It could be. I'm curious to see. I'm cool with it anyway. We've seen a lot of things that come up and they just say D&D. And I'm like, D&D is a big enough thing for people to say, hey, they're doing Dreamlight Valley and D&D. And I think that would be a fucking massive headline.
But
So-
Baldur's Gate 3, the highest selling game of all time on
Yeah.
the PC. That's a bigger thing than D&D itself in
Right.
games right now, in
Yeah.
video games.
Yeah, I'm curious to see. I don't know. If it is just generally because it's in the Forgotten Realms, that's fucking hilarious. I think that's really funny.
Are you gonna run around like? Is Asterion gonna run around behind you like Goofy and ask you to go fishing?
Yeah, I want to say, can we hang out? I got to go do some mining, and that's your thing.
Asterion's gonna clap every time you catch a fish.
Yeah, I'd love that.
Do you think they're gonna give him a gun?
Yeah. Now you're saying it's literally just the Forgotten Realms. We don't actually know that though.
Yeah.
There's not actually information about that, so I don't want to say that for sure. They're partnering with Wizards in general. I have the whole write-up of it. And they are saying it's set in the Forgotten Realms where D&D, where Baldur's Gate 3 and a bunch of other D&D adventures are. But we don't have information. We know it's not going to be the Baldur's Gate characters, for instance. There's no reason to believe that right now.
It'd be wild to leave them out, but yeah.
Yes and no. They might not. That's also something that might be like Larian specific. They might not have the ability to do that. That might be something. I don't know. I don't know what the rights and ownership is of like the specific characters. But I don't want to say, like, I just don't want to say things that we don't know as fact.
Yeah, sure.
That's it. It's just, we don't know what it's going to be. They say that it is going to be a hybrid of survival, life sim, and action RPG.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
That's fascinating. They also say that it's going to have some sort of unique co-op gameplay to it.
Yeah.
That is not, so it's not just Dreamlight Valley with a Baldur's Gate 3 skin. It's the Dreamlight Valley team doing something that supposedly will feel different and more true to Baldur's Gate.
They say players can expect an adventure where the rich lore of this legendary franchise meets real-time survival in a unique campaign of resilience, camaraderie, and danger at nearly every turn. Ooh, I'm very into it. I think that sounds fucking awesome. I'm very into it. These are the intersection of my interests of D&D and Disney Dreamlight Valley.
Now, they do list this as a PC and console game in the announcement. A large focus for Dreamlight Valley, of course, is also the mobile side.
Yeah.
So this is very interesting. I have a feeling since they're talking about some more complicated game systems,
Yeah.
it might not be, it's definitely not going to be mobile first is what they're saying. And it might be tough to bring to mobile because of the things that they're adding, but who knows? But
there's no mention of mobile yet. They did bring Dreamlight Valley to mobile.
Yeah.
I got it. It's great. It's really fun.
And Gameloft, of course, has their entire history is as a mobile publisher.
Yeah.
But this is kind of interesting if they try to, if they're trying to get more and more away from that.
Yeah.
And this is sort of like a larger, more prestige product for them.
It's interesting. I was actually a little disappointed because I couldn't access my same like Valley on mobile.
Oh, yeah.
You'd have to start a new game. It is a new game.
Yeah.
Because they did have to modify a good amount of things for mobile, and that does make sense, but it also lost most of its value for me. I like opened it up and I was like, I don't want to start the game over. Now, for people who don't have console or PC, that just want to play it on mobile, that's awesome. It's a great mobile game. But for people who have already been playing Dreamlight Valley and are like, you know, now what, a year and a half into it at least, is tough.
Yeah.
But that's okay.
Sure.
I'm super excited about it. I think this sounds amazing. I can't wait. I really do. What gives me faith, in my opinion, about Gameloft on this specifically is Dreamlight Valley has been so solid. Not to say that there's never been bugs in Dreamlight Valley. There have been, but the features that they added were so thoughtful into this game.
Yeah.
It's been such a smooth play experience, and they've done a really good job of capturing a lot of aspects of Disney in it. So it's like they've done well with the IP, but also done really well mechanically with this game.
Yeah, this is the same team inside of Gameloft that also did Lego Star Wars Castaways.
Yeah.
Which is a very similar game, but has Lego building mechanics in it.
Awesome. I haven't played that.
They're a very good team. And I'm excited to see what they bring to like a more D&D focused thing. Because they're very good at bringing whatever the core of the franchise or the IP is to the template of this sort of like day-to-day life sim.
I think that's neat.
Yeah.
Do you want to get to any of this other news, or should we just take a quick break and get to our final segment?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's go to the
All right,
final
we're going to take
segment.
a quick break really quick, and then we have something very special for you.
Yeah.
I've got to go check my meter.
Okay, welcome back, everyone. As you know, we're not just a morning show. We're a news show. We're a very serious journalistic source, and there's been something very big that's been going on in the world. For the last few weeks, people have been very worried about the location of Princess Catherine, Kate Middleton. Apparently, she has disappeared from social media and public life, and people have been very concerned as to her safety. I am very excited to say, joining me here now in the studio for her first live interview since this disappearance, Princess Catherine.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Oh, thank you for being here. First of all, I just want to say, on behalf of everyone, we're so glad that you're safe and all right.
Yeah, it's been very strange. I'm not sure why people have been so troubled. We posted, obviously, a photo, and people's response to it was surprising.
Yeah.
Clearly, that was me with my family, just as real as I am here now.
Yeah, and let's talk a little bit about that. This order of events here. You sort of dropped off of social media and public life a couple weeks ago, which got everybody talking. Was there a reason for that, or?
There's been some. There's been some time spent with family, trying to take a little bit of privacy for a moment. We know in today's world, apparently, if you're not on social media or not being photographed in the presses, then you've done something wild, like getting a BBL or going on The Masked Singer.
Yeah. So let's dive a little bit into that. I understand wanting to to take a little bit of a break, but some of the media that was released in your disappearance did look a little fishy. Some people said it looked photoshopped, like maybe there was a body double and your face, or maybe your hands were not really there. People were saying they knew it was shopped because of the pixels, Kate.
Honestly, I'm not particularly tech savvy, so
Sure.
I wouldn't be familiar with what the process of that would even be. Can people edit photos? Change them?
It's not the easiest thing in the world to do, I'll tell you that. And obviously, I wouldn't believe it. I was honestly, I thought maybe something was up until I saw you so clearly here
Yes.
in the flesh with me now.
Of course.
No, I can tell you clearly it's just as real as it looks. I'm so glad that you decided to be here on video with me.
Thank you. Yes. I thought it was important to come by and dispel any rumors. I don't know why anyone would ever think anything nefarious of the royal family due to our pristine history, of course.
Sure. Now, let's talk about some of these rumors.
Okay.
First of all, are you on The Masked Singer? Are you the goldfish?
Oh, I wish. Unfortunately, anybody with ears can clearly tell that that's Vanessa Hudgens.
Really? You think so?
Most definitely. I know my High School Musical.
Okay. That's fair, I guess. There was a rumor that you were disappearing from the public eye to prove your importance to the royal family.
Oh.
There was a question of potential infidelity on Prince William's side, and that this was a power play.
I did see a post recently, a photo of me and the woman that is being alleged as a mistress standing side by side with the caption, it would simply be it for me if my husband cheated on me with someone who looked like me but horsier. And to that, I was absolutely taken aback. That would never be the kind of scandal that would appear within the royal family.
Because you would say grammatically more horsey.
Right. Correct. It's actually really hard with this accent to say horsier.
Yeah. That's a horsier in England, if I'm correct, is somebody who makes hats for horses.
Yes. Yes. That is. We do have 9 horses at the palace. Yes.
Yeah.
That's true. It is absolutely. I am here to dispel that is not the case. A lot of people are trying to tie that to something of power structures or wanting to be queen. And to that, I say, clearly the king is going to live forever. That's just won't die.
Yeah.
So with that, there would be no reason.
We can only hope so. We can only hope that he will keep living a long and wonderful life.
Yes. May the God or Pope or whatever win to protect him forever, and may he live.
Yeah, very famously not the Pope.
Right.
Very famously not the Pope.
Are you sure?
Yeah, are you sure?
Absolutely. I'm Kate Middleton. And the Duchess.
Do you you've got a little something, maybe just get your hair out of your
Yeah. Is that better?
There you go. Yeah, that's perfect. And
Okay.
and it looked very real. So Kate, I do want to know,
Yes.
where have you been, Loca?
Well, I had hoped to maintain some level of privacy while taking this time.
And you say privacy because you're British.
I'm
And
the Duchess.
You definitely did not have to think about that because you just say it. It just rolls off your tongue that way.
Yes, it does come to me entirely naturally.
Right.
I was hoping to maintain such privacy while taking this time, but I did in fact get a BBL.
Wow.
Yes. During that time, I have been recovering just with this absolutely fat stack of a badonkadonk.
Wow.
Yes, I think everybody should be entitled to a BBL.
Sure.
I think that anybody who wants to should have it. And it's just been a bit of recovery time.
Well, may the sun never set on that ass.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you bringing me on, of course, to dispel these absolutely ridiculous rumors.
Sure.
I mean, the things that I have seen are truly absurd, but I have had a bit of fun entertainment time with it, I'll
Sure.
say. I think it's been, a little bit of a silly, goofy time watching people speculate where I could have been during this. And it's good to know that I am cared for and that people missed me while I was
Yeah.
away. But I am here to say, without a doubt, I'm right here and
Yeah.
there's nothing to worry about.
If you want to, Kate, could you just look into your camera right there? And if there's
Yes, of
any
course.
final thing that you want to say
Yes.
perfect. If there's any final thing that you want to say to the people at home about you, Kate Middleton, Princess Catherine, and how safe you really are.
Hello, it's me, the Duchess, Princess Catherine, in the flesh. And I just wanted to say, I don't even know how Photoshop works. None of those photos are anything to be troubled with. If anything, all of you should be put at ease and comforted by the current state of the royal family and know that everybody is well and excited. There are no secrets, conspiracies, and absolutely no drama within a royal family.
There you go. Now, Kate, for some people that here on the internet are asking me in particular on social media for some genuine proof that you are who you say you are, we're just going to go ahead and we're going to say some things that you would definitely know about yourself.
Okay.
We're going to say them together.
Right.
Of course.
Yes.
Are you ready?
Uh-huh.
So, here we go. Of course, you were born on January 9th, 1982. In Reading. Perfect. And your parents' names are, of course, Michael and Carol. See, there you
Right.
go.
Yes.
And of course, you lived for a very long time in.
I have lived for a very long time. I am the old one. I am the Eldridge. I am the great.
Yes. You lived in. That's a little weird.
Sorry,
actually.
what? Go on.
You lived
Same
in.
time. Let's do it.
Okay. You
I
moved
love
from,
games.
Yeah, you moved when you were very young from Berkshire to Amman,
Amman,
Jordan. Were you? Yeah, there
Yes,
you go.
of course.
What an
I
interesting,
recall it. I remember.
what an interesting place to spend your childhood.
Yeah, very interesting.
What was your favorite part about Jordan?
the oranges.
There you go. And then, of course, you studied at the British Institute of Florence in Italy.
Of
Great.
course. Where else would a British Institute of Florence be? You know what I mean? I did, yes. That's was what I did.
Perfect. I mean, listen, and of course, real quick, your children's names. Dave. And
of course,
Gary. So there you go.
Real names. Yeah, right. Pardon, I'm still a little sleepy. What is it? It's too early, right?
Yeah, there you go.
Name and a promise. You know what I mean?
Everybody, thank you so much. Princess Catherine, Kate Middleton, thank you for joining us. We will be right back, everybody. Okay.
Did I miss it?
Yeah, I'm so sorry.
I missed the princess.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. These parking meters.
Just fight with one of the guys trying to give me a ticket. And I can't believe I missed the whole interview.
Yeah.
Were you able to confirm that it was her?
Oh, beyond a shadow of a doubt. I don't think there's any way anybody would think that there's anything going on with the princess after this.
Well, glad to hear it. Thank you so much for everybody joining us. We appreciate it very much. I'm very glad that we could put some of those rumors to rest and give everybody a little bit of peace. I know, especially because this is a morning show, we have a lot of British viewers that have probably been very troubled with the dealings of the royal family.
Well,
I know how much of a big fan of the royals you all are.
Yeah, and I want to say there have been British some of our British viewers in the live studio audience here, and they have been saying the whole time that we have been really nailing it.
Awesome.
Our research was really in depth, and it paid off.
Yeah.
And I'm just so glad that we got everything correct.
I'm proud. That's really great. Well, thank you everybody for joining us. That is all the show that we have time for today. It was mostly stories, right?
Yeah.
We definitely didn't spend most of it dicking around.
No, we would never.
Hey, if you did enjoy the show, if you're watching on YouTube, be sure to like, subscribe, leave a comment, letting us know what you thought, letting us know your thoughts on any of these stories, whether it's the TikTok ban, Princess Kate, or Beans and Blood. What's the weirdest thing you've ever gotten in a package, I guess?
Yeah.
The other thing you can do is go to patreon.com/Pixel Circus if you want to support the show directly. The very first episode of the Pixel Pod has just released today.
Oh!
It is up on Patreon. If you want to check that out, it is available right now for our VIP tier and will be available to the rest of the patrons in a few days. So
How exciting.
if you want to enjoy that, it was pretty neat. It was a pretty good time.
So join that Patreon. You'll also get a clip from us today,
That's
which is
so
very
true.
exciting.
A lot of content.
We do a bonus clip for you here every week. We also want to say thank you to everybody who has joined the Discord and has been hanging out. We really love it. We love seeing you all hanging out together. We love everybody who shares about the show on social media. As broken and terrible and horrible as it is, that word of mouth really does a lot for us.
Yeah, absolutely. And we appreciate it so much. You know what else does a lot?
Directly giving us money.
Yeah.
We're going to thank everybody who directly gives us money because you're the best people.
Well.
No, I'm sorry.
Okay. But
I'm
first,
sorry.
Anthony,
Yes.
where else do you go on the internet?
You can find me everywhere at a Carboni, except for here on Twitch where I'm at Anthony Carboni and Saige.
Yes.
I'm a Final Fantasy fan now.
I saw your post about it. What happened?
I like Final Fantasy now. I've been playing Final Fantasy VII Remake. I'm getting caught up. Come watch me play it today as well. I love this adorable crew of idiots and all of their horrible decisions. They're amazing.
Fabulous.
What about you?
You can find me everywhere on the internet at Not Saige. I stream on my channel Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday. And you can find me on the podcast.
Whoa. Hey, Alex, what do you do with your life?
This weekend I'm gonna get a lot of sleep, but you might be
Nice.
able to find me on Mendari's channel tomorrow evening.
Fabulous. Thank you so much for joining us for today's show. Thank you for spending some of your morning with us. We appreciate it, and we will see you next on the Patreon.